A quick audio test of both phones, Xiaomi Redmi Note 13 Pro Plus 5G, the global version, versus Xiaomi Redmi Note 14 Pro Plus 5G. Again, the global version with 200 megapixel sensors. We are testing 4K 24 FPS. There's no cinematic mode on both phones, but this is the cinematic frame rates for both phones. So I think that's it for the quick audio and cinematic test. Now let's check some portrait shots. Let's start with the widest field of view, which is 1x, and this is the only field of view on the older Note 13 Pro Plus. You got a brighter image looking at the pants, my jacket, and also the face. Also, I played around with the f-stop and I noticed that 14 Pro Plus has a creamier background blur and the same f1.0. You got bigger bokeh balls as well. When you look on the face, they have the same level of details. There's just a little bit of difference on the skin color, a little bit warmer on the older 13 Pro Plus, and natural looking on the newer 14 Pro Plus. Now the biggest difference here is the 2x because we can adjust the focal length on Note 14 Pro Plus. I think it's around 85mm. You would also notice that the background blur is almost dreamy at this point. Again, same tendency on the selfie camera. You have a warmer skin tone on the older 13 Pro Plus, and the shadows are crushed and a little bit beautified on the newer 14 Pro Plus. Alright, we're starting with the video quality test on the selfie video recording. 1080p 60 FPS, the highest frame rates on both phones. In terms of video quality, I like the older Redmi Note 13 Pro Plus 5G in terms of details. And then obviously on the beautification, I like Redmi Note 14 Pro Plus 5G. Again, this is a personal preference. You have 16 megapixel sensor on Redmi Note 13 Pro Plus 5G and 20 megapixel on the latest model. Now we're switching to the rear cameras of both phones, starting with the ultra-wide lens in 1080p 30 FPS. Same 8 megapixel sensors for both phones. In terms of quality and colors, which phone do you think is better? Now we're switching to the main sensors of both phones in 4K 30 FPS. This is a proper 4K for both phones. This can compete with the flagship competition out there in terms of daylight condition. I think if you're vlogging with these two phones, you must use the main sensor because they're the only one offering the 4K video recording. We're also testing the 2x digital crop on both phones. It's cropping in on the main sensor's 200 megapixel sensor. In terms of details on my face, which phone do you think is better? Now there's also a big difference in the image quality. You have a more vivid look on the older model and you have natural looking colors just like the newer flashier phones on the latest 14 Pro Plus. The colors on Note 13 Pro Plus are warm and inviting, almost social media ready. The color accuracy on the newer model is really good. Even looking at the sky, it is toned down compared to the competition. Sometimes the exposure is a little bit too much on the newer 14 Pro, but definitely it is brighter than the older 13 Pro Plus. Shake it out. In terms of details, both phones are very rich because of the 200 megapixel sensor. I also like the depth of field when the subject is closer on the camera. And looking at the floors, the contrast is a little bit stronger on the newer 14 Pro Plus. Also, we can shoot 8 megapixel ultra-wide 200 megapixel main sensor, which we can do digital crop, and we have a dedicated macro sensors on both phones. Take a look. Slow motion is also available for both phones, but we can only shoot 1080p 120 FPS at max. We are testing the video stabilization of both phones, also the video quality outdoors. So this is the selfie video recording, 1080p 60 FPS, the highest frame rate for the selfie video recording. Let's quickly check the sky. A little bit lighter on the newer 14 Pro Plus 5G. Now let's check the video stabilization. I'm shaking the phones a little bit. Now let's check the rear cameras. We are starting with the rear cameras on the ultra-wide lens, 1080p 30 FPS. There's no 4K on both of these phones. We're testing the video stabilization, again shaking the phones a little bit for you to see the difference. Now let's switch to the main sensor. Now we're testing the main sensor in 4K 30 FPS, both 200 megapixel sensors. A quick check of the flaring. Now we're checking the video stabilization. We're also switching to 2x. So this is the 2x. Again, another video stabilization. And looking to the farthest zoom, we can go 6x on the older 13 Pro Plus 5G and also 6x on 14 Pro Plus 5G. Night shots are really nice on both phones. You can shoot both on the ultra wide and the main sensor. On situations where you have enough light, I think they would almost look the same. A little bit greenish on the latest 14 Pro Plus, but both phones are really good.
This could be our one chance. We'll send a postcard when we're through. We'll get there together. We'll get there together. I'll meet you at the
I think the biggest difference here is the pitch black condition. You would notice that it is brighter, sharper, and has better focus on the newer model. Also, if you look on the ultra wide and the main sensor, you have better exposure on the newer 14 Pro Plus.
starry nights and endless seas.
We are starting this low light video test using the selfie cameras in both phones, 1080p 30 FPS. So you have 16 megapixel f2.4 on Xiaomi Redmi Note 13 Pro Plus 5G, and you got 20 megapixel f2.2 on the latest 14 Pro Plus 5G. So in terms of video quality, if I look on the screen, you have better colors on Redmi Note 13 Pro Plus 5G, but a little bit brighter on 14 Pro Plus 5G. Now we're testing the rear cameras of both phones, starting with the ultra-wide lens, 0.6 on both phones. This is an 8 megapixel sensor. The only difference is the field of view. You have 16mm on Redmi Note 13 Pro Plus 5G, and you have 15mm on the newest 14, so a little bit wider on the newest 14. In terms of noise, you would see that the 14 is a little bit noisier than the competition, but there's more details on the latest 14 Pro Plus 5G. And lastly, we're testing the main sensors of both phones, 200 megapixel, same sensors, same multi-directional face detection, autofocus, and same 1/1.4 sensor on both phones. So this is f1.7, so a little bit brighter. I noticed that the older model is a little bit brighter than the competition, but in terms of color profile, it is true to life on Redmi 14. But again, in terms of video quality, I think both phones are really good. But I would ask this question again in terms of details, white balance, and colors. Which phone do you think is better? So this is the ultimate camera comparison video of Xiaomi Redmi Note 13 Pro Plus 5G versus 14 Pro Plus 5G. Is it worth upgrading to the newer version? Let me know in the comment section. And that's it for today. Peace.